Good morning, everyone. Can you hear that? That's the train in the background. I live close to the train, but not too close. I hope everyone's doing well this morning. My name's Andrew Hall. You can call me Dr. Kennard. So much fun to go over today. The bishop, who is no longer a bishop because he fell in love with an author who writes satanic erotica. Florida again. Good news from Florida for a change. Scientists just got to know how to talk dumb to people. That didn't come out right, but we'll get into that story too. We're going to talk about Marjorie Taylor Greene getting whacked. No, not that way, but getting hit with a fine for not wearing face masks. Confederate Commander Robert E. Lee statue is down. And we're going to go over, at least for a minute, about the California recall election. It looks pretty good, to tell you the truth. The Democratic governor is 10 points ahead. So these are all positive things. I hope you're doing well. You want to do something funny? Let's do something funny. Let's do this now. I don't know why I'm going in.
Bit of a shaky start to the school year.
Well, I don't think anybody expected us to dominate day one, but getting a call from the school, a bit unexpected.
First day picture, was it taken?
Technically, yes, but we're going to run it again this weekend and hopefully forget it was a reenactment.
Can you comment on the holding call at the start?
Yeah, the goodbye hug lingered, which set us back emotionally.
Light up high tops certainly drew some attention.
I guess. Would have been nice to know about finger painting on day one.
Have you figured out how to log into the school website?
No idea.
That spoke to me, everyone, because logging into the school's website, always problematical, still is problematical, to tell you the truth. I hope everyone's doing well this morning. It's raining here, right? I don't know if it's raining where you are. I was thinking, it was raining during the dry season. Does that mean we're going to get like super amounts of rain during the rainier times of the year? I don't know. Conversatin', I see what you did there, Simply Secular Dave from the West Coast. Wild Eden, how you doing? Tobin Templeman, it's good morning so far, Tobin. Wild Eden says, I heard from a U.S. med student that they are starting to see ivermectin overdose people now in the hospital. Apparently it can cause seizures and worse. Yeah, it can cause, if you overdose on it, right? And that's the thing. People are trying to DIY their COVID treatments, as against you just following the FDA guidance, the CDC guidance. I wrote a post, a poll. I don't know if it's going to go viral. I've been lucky lately. This month has been very good to me, to tell you the truth, in terms of the blog. But I wrote a bit about how Joe Rogan is selling ivermectin flags on his site. Now, that's a poll. It's not true. It's funny. I have a buddy of mine who makes memes and just volunteers to make memes, and he sends them over to me. So I thought, I have all these great memes. What am I going to do with it? So I threw them all in a post this morning. What's up, Dee Parks? Jessi Bear, glad to see that you're here. BigZebra.com. And you know what? I posted the cat's Facebook group in the chat because my fictitious god, so many people are putting in so many really cool memes. I just saw I just okayed a bunch of them this morning. Hilarious stuff. Oh, did I get everyone? I think I got everyone. I don't know. Oh, Dr. Mordecai, good morning, sir. And Jess M. And Grant Farmer, glad to see that you're here. Grant, of course, we're doing the after party after show at 10 a.m. If you want to come on the panel, there's a link in the description to be on the panel. All right. You want to do memes? I think we should do memes. Before getting serious. What's the first one? When never forget who was there when nobody else was. There you go. Who was there? All right, next meme. This is one, I might have shared this before. It's one of my favorites. Check it out. Thank goodness they are back in stock. Look, it's a cat. And it looks kind of like my cat. The girlfriend's not here. I can call her my cat. It's our cat, actually, Biscuit. It looks like Biscuit. And this next meme is harsh. It's a cat meme. It's hilarious. I should warn you that there's math involved. That being said, let's do this last meme. Today's math problem. If Doug is 59 and his girlfriend is 22, how much money does Doug have? Totally wrong. That's not right, Andy. People can find love with radical age differences. It happens all the time. Right. So I thought those were 3 worthy memes for your consumption this morning. Checking out the chat one more time. Dr. Osiris is here. How you doing, Dr. Osiris? All right. Maths are hard, John Hudson. You're right. Where is John Hudson? See, the maths are hard. I'm thinking that the 59-year-old has a lot of cash in his pocket. That's all I'm saying, right? How's the sound quality? I switched mics today. I still have mic here, but I'm hoping that the sound quality is better than it has in the past. But I don't know. You guys tell me. How much does... That's the question. How much money does Doug have left? And you know what's interesting? I was talking... Oh, the sound is good. Good. Well, I was talking with my girlfriend about this meme because whenever I find something really funny and stupid on the internet, I have to show it to her. She goes, not only does he have to have a lot of money, but his money has to be liquid. In other words, he can't like have it all in his house, or he has to have cash on hand for that 22-year-old. Sounds much better. That's good. All right. I don't know why this mic obviously crapped the bed on me. So now I'm actually just using the crappy mic that's in my crappy camera. How about that? You want to do the first story? Let's talk about Satan. Oh, I do have another announcement, everyone. And I just found out about this morning from my buddy Jimmy Lou over on the Tang Network, is that their conference that they're running in October has been postponed because of COVID. So, I had Trent Spear on, who's Kids the Clown. He does a show with Jimmy on Thursday nights at 9 p.m. And like I said, I just heard today that the Tang Network's conference is postponed. Just heard it from Jimmy this morning. We were just talking back and forth, messaging back and forth. So yeah, just if you were thinking about going before, it's now postponed. You can probably check out their site, their channel to get more information on that, everyone. All right. Now we're going to talk about Satan. First part of our story, the bishop. Oh, he's not a saint, everyone. He's been involved with conversion therapy and exorcising demons. He's not an angel. I'll tell you this, no longer a bishop. And why? Because of this woman and Satan. This is the woman, the author of Satanic Erotica. Oh, let's go through the story. This is from the Friendly Atheist, Hemet. Links in the description. Spanish bishop resigns after falling in love with Satanic Erotica novelist. Juicy story. At least it's not falling in love with a 9-year-old kid. Of course, if he fell in love with a 9-year-old kid, he would have just stayed in his position, right? Dark, Andy. There's no reason for that. Microphone says there's no reason for that. All right. A few weeks ago, Bishop Xavier Novell Goma announced he was resigning from the Catholic Church at 41. He became the youngest bishop in Spain. At 52 today, he's still one of the youngest. So this is a loss for the church, but he was also an outspoken advocate for Catalan independence, which made him controversial. All right, I'm not going to get into the internal politics of Spain. I know a little bit about it. I know that there are regions in Spain that want to be independent, and Catalan is one of them. Now we know the reason, and it's so much better than we could have imagined. He stepped down because he fell in love with a divorced woman, scandalous, who writes erotic fiction with a satanic twist. But sources quoted by the Catholic publication Religion Digital this week confirmed rumors that Bishop Novell had embarked on a relationship with Sylvia Caballol, a psychologist and writer of erotic novels. leading him to cast aside his vow of celibacy. He said he had fallen in love and wanted to do the right thing, according to reports, in reference to the relationship with 38-year-old author of The Hell of Gabriel's Lust and the erotic trilogy Amnesia. The Hell of Gabriel's Lust. You know, she's going to get a lot more book sales because of this. She was able to turn one of the people on the other side, so to speak, towards the ways of Satan. Hilarious. I'd be intrigued to read some of her material, to tell you the truth. I don't know if anyone else has in the chat. Now, once again, the bishop, not a great guy, but at least he's taking a step back from being an active participant in an international criminal conspiracy that's known as the Catholic Church, the one true church. Oh, see, there's 38 comments. So many people having pretty funny comments, I'm sure. Gonna check out the chat right now. Strangely, the writer likes having sex with someone who wears bishop's robes. You know, I mean, there's a fetish for everything, right? There is a fetish for everything. So maybe that's how she likes to rock it. Am I still asleep? Life seems unreal. This is just normal garden variety. This is how strange life is, right? All right, checking out the rest of the chat here. Dr. Mordecai, you should always yell God when having sex so Jamin won't jump in your butt and in your ass. Indeed. Now, of course, there are people within his crew, within the Catholic Church, who are like saying, you know, he wouldn't have he wouldn't have left the job if it wasn't for demons. There are people there saying he is infested with demons. That's why he's no longer a bishop. And that's why he's banging that satanic author. All right. And they insist, of course, it has nothing to do. The reason why he left the faith isn't because of celibacy. It's because of demons. So according to some of his peers or his ex-peers in the Catholic Church, this man has been demon-possessed, maybe by her vagina. I don't know. That's uncalled for too, Andy. That's uncalled for. Wow. We started off with a positive story, everyone, and we're going to go to a positive video. If you have just a ray of sunshine, I'm not even going to tell you what the video is going to be, because it's so awesome. I'm just going to share it with you awkwardly, like I do. All righty, sharing screen. You're going to like it, I hope.
A statue of Confederate Commander Robert E. Lee was removed from its base in Virginia on Wednesday after a year-long battle over a monument that has been the focus of protests over racial injustice. Crews took down the 21-foot bronze statue of the pro-slavery general dressed in military attire and mounted on top of a horse from Monument Avenue in Richmond, former Confederacy capital. The crowd was on hand Wednesday to mark the moment.
It's been a long time coming. I'm a native of Richmond. I've been here almost like I'm 60-some years old. And so I've been passing through and seeing this. So it's finally come down, man. It's a moment of joy for me.
Installed in 1890, the towering memorial sat on a 40-foot granite pedestal and was one of the largest Confederate statues still standing in the United States. Statues that honor leaders of the pro-slavery Confederate side of the American Civil War have become targets of protests against racism.
So we're taking it down.
Governor Ralph Northam, a Democrat, announced plans to remove the statue in June of 2020, 10 days after a white Minneapolis policeman killed George Floyd, who was black, sparking nationwide protests. The removal was challenged by nearby residents and a descendant of the family, but last week the Virginia Supreme Court unanimously ruled in 2 cases that Northam could take it down. The base will remain in place as the community reimagines Monument Avenue, and the statue will be kept in a secure state-owned storage site until a decision on its future is finalized. During the last 6 years, more than 300 symbols of the Confederacy and white supremacy have been taken down, while some 2,000 still stand. according to the Southern Poverty Law Center.
Good news. I don't know, and this is true. I was looking at the news this morning, and Donald J. Trump stated that Robert E. Lee would have won the Civil War if he didn't blow it in Gettysburg, or if he didn't lose in Gettysburg, because, and that's what, it was something like that. It was Donald Trump saying the South would have won the war if it wasn't for Gettysburg, that Lee was a great tactician, and that if it wasn't for Gettysburg, he would have won it all. Now, if you know anything about the Battle of Gettysburg, by the end of the second day, it was pretty clear that Lee hadn't scored a huge victory over the Union. And on the third day, he made a commitment, despite counsel from some of his generals, like Longstreet, for an example. And that's when he ordered Pickett's charge, which was basically just sending legions of his troops into an open field, and they just got mowed down. Sure, some of them broke through the Union lines, but that was quickly sealed up. And Lee recognized that it was his hubris, because remember, hubris, pride, you have hubris, and then you have nemesis following right after hubris, everyone. And so it was Lee's decision to make that fatal charge on the third day of Gettysburg that really did sink the battle he lost it already. He already lost the Battle of Gettysburg at the end of the second day. Ridiculous. Donald J. Trump just wanting to insert himself into the dialogue. That's what he's trying to do with pro-Southern, pro-insurrection messaging. Well, yeah, Dr. Osiris, they all do need to come down. If there's 2,000 of those statues, just systematically, just wipe the slate clean, right? So simply Secular Dave goes, so now there are many bishops asking, wait, do we have to resign to, that's of course referencing the first story that we did. Why don't they just paint the sculpture like a clown and put it in a public park? Many creative solutions, Big Z. I don't know if you remember or if you've ever seen the old footage of when the Soviets took Berlin in 1945, that I think it was the Reich Chancellery, that the big swastika gets blown up by the Soviets. If I was going to wave my magic wand, I would like to see Lee's statue just blown the fuck up. Just blown up. Yeah. Jessi Bear, I don't know if you know about the pun that you just made, right? Yankees were a shoe-in for Gettysburg, but you're smart. One of the reasons why the North and the South armies collided at Gettysburg is because Southerners were looking for shoes. They were looking for shoes. And that's how the two sides collided. Stumbled onto each other. Am I caught up with everyone? I think I am caught up with everyone here in the chat. Cool. So what's the next story? Oh, Florida. Positive news from Florida. We don't have a lot of positive news from Florida. Blow to DeSantis as judge rules Florida cannot enforce mask mandate ban. Judge rules against governor while appeals court decides whether a ban on public schools mandating masks is ultimately legal. So there's been several court battles. This is not the end of the court battle. It will probably go to the Florida Supreme Court. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's do this thing. A Florida judge ruled on Wednesday that the state cannot enforce a ban on public schools mandating the use of masks against the coronavirus, while an appeals court sorts out whether the ban is ultimately legal. The ruling by Leon County Circuit Judge John C. Cooper came amid a surge in cases caused by the Delta virus variant. Those statistics show that surge has begun to wane, Miami-Dade County Public Schools, Florida's largest school district, said this week 13 employees had died from COVID-19 since the 16th of August. We covered that story before, and it turns out everyone that they were all unvaccinated too, that the people died, the educational professionals in Miami-Dade County were unvaccinated, and those 13 died. Let's continue. Since DeSantis signed the mask ban on the 30th of July, 13 school boards representing more than half of Florida's 2.8 million students have adopted mask requirements, with opt-outs only for medical reasons. State officials have begun going after school board salaries as a form of punishment. The case next goes before the First District Court of Appeal in Tallahassee. DeSantis said on Wednesday in Palm Harbor he was confident the state would prevail. The matter could ultimately be decided by the Florida Supreme Court. The core of the governor's argument is that the recently passed Parents' Bill of Rights gives decision-making authority to parents on whether their children should wear a mask in school. See, so they made a law. They made a law that said that basically parents can kill their kids. Okay, maybe not directly kill their kids, but by making stupid health decisions that, parents can kill their kids. In a separate case, parents of special needs children have filed a federal lawsuit claiming DeSantis's mask ban violates the Americans with Disability Act by placing their children in jeopardy. A federal judge in Miami was set to hold a hearing later on Wednesday. And I hadn't even thought about this because I'm stupid. It isn't just, of course, about the average everyday children who are in school, but it's about the kids who have disabilities. They might have impaired immune systems. And to send them into buildings that have poor ventilation, no windows, and do you remember that when we had Bertha Vasquez, a teacher from Miami-Dade County, on, the high school she works in have to have their doors locked because they're afraid of school shooters. It's policy. Can you imagine sending a kid with a disability into an environment like that? The person who might have an impaired immune system. It's criminal. That's what it is, or it should be criminal. Gonna check out the chat. See what's going on. DeSantis always looks like a deer caught staring into headlights. I'll say you're right. I'll say you're right on that, John Hudson. As far as I'm concerned, this is from Dr. Osiris. As far as I'm concerned, it shouldn't have to be a matter of whether or not it's legal about it, if it's right or not. It's well, if you're jeopardizing your child's life, right? Do parents have the right to jeopardize their children's life? The question begs the answer. All right. Jessi Bear points out, kids don't mind wearing masks. Kids don't want to get sick, and they want to go to school. Win-win. Yeah, true enough. True enough. And BigZebra.com says, let's play. Guess who's running for president? Yeah, DeSantis. Once again, it's important to note how crazy the Republican base is. Because we saw a couple of weeks ago in a poll that if Donald Trump was not running for president in the next election cycle, DeSantis is the guy that Republican delegates like. That's how crazy the Republican base is right now. The Republican Party is. Hey, what's up, Donna? Halftime tummy rub show? I don't know why I'm doing guns right now, but I'm doing guns. Halftime tummy rub show. Please like the video if you get some value from it, if you enjoy our time together here, Monday through Fridays at 9. While you like the video, how about subscribing? Maybe hitting the bell. See, I remembered it that time. And you'll notice that there are no ads on this channel, completely funded, supported by YouTube members and patrons. Thank you very much. If you don't want to make a commitment like that, you can always PayPal me or Venmo me some money like John Hudson did. Thank you again, John Hudson, for your donations. Let's do the halftime tummy rub show. Let's do something funny.
Welcome to church.
Oh, we just started a new sermon series going through Joel Osteen's newest book.
Oh, we call our pastor Papa.
Not another step. No one walks in this church without a hug.
What's your comfort level with snakes?
Excuse me, why didn't you type last week? I only know because our church posted on our Facebook group all the amounts that everyone pays, and you didn't. Isn't that interesting?
By the way, what's your favorite flavor of Kool-Aid?
Last week I was told in confidence that one of our brothers here in church struggles with alcoholism, and so right now what I wanted us to do is to pray for them. So Mark, if you want to come up here so we can put our hands on you.
Yes, I am the pastor. I run all ministries, including the women's ministry.
I love our pastor. He hasn't sinned in 11 years.
Correction, brother. 12 years. Bring forward the snakes.
Let's see who's worthy.
Or not worthy. I'm sure you've heard of the Trinity, correct? Well, how about the Frenity? Yes, I did counsel that young lady. I told her to divorce her husband. Now we're happily married. We believe that everyone here has a voice, except for women, for obvious reasons.
Couldn't agree more.
Oh, we don't believe in hell. Hell is what you make it. This is your family now.
Wow. I guess that was funny, right? I mean, maybe for some of us who've lived through stuff like that, not so funny. But yeah, I guess it's comedy, right? Maybe cuts a little close to the bone for some of us. The Kool-Aid, right? What is your favorite flavor of Kool-Aid? And thank you, Dr. Osiris, for throwing down those links. You too, Imaginary God. I know you threw down some link, right? That was really funny, Wild Eden. That was delightfully funny and appropriate. So appropriate. Dr. Osiris says, other parents don't have the right to harm other people's kids. Yes, it is literally insane that people think it's okay not to wear a mask during this time. Yeah, it seems as if we're just a species of stupid heads, selfish heads too. I believe that is the proper evolutionary biology term. Maybe. All right, we got to get back to being serious here. We covered the bishop, who's no longer a bishop because he fell in love with a satanic, well, she's an author who writes satanic fiction. So that was the first story. The second story was about Robert E. Lee's statue coming down in Richmond. And then the third story, Florida, and DeSantis can't ban masks temporarily, at least. That was the newest court decision. That was yesterday. News story, scientists. How many people here just get frustrated when they hear scientists talking on TV? I know I do. Because they're talking smart words for smart people, and I don't think smart people understand dumb people. I don't think they understand dumb people. I don't think they understand how to talk to dumb people. Speaking as an idiot, I know what works for me, what draws my attention. And it's like the Dunning-Kruger effect, right? The Dunning-Kruger effect is that the incompetent don't realize that they're incompetent because they're incompetent, right? That's the Dunning-Kruger effect. And it explains a lot once you hear it. However, I think there's some kind of corollary to the Dunning-Kruger effect when smart people don't understand dumb people because they're so smart. This is a story. The link is in the description. Let's check it out. Oh, wrong button, Andy. So many wrong buttons to press. Enough with the climate jargon. Scientists aim for clearer messages on global warming. Link in the description below, everyone. Here's a sentence that's basically unintelligible to most people. Humans must mitigate global warming by pursuing an unprecedented transition to a carbon neutral economy. I'm going to read it again. Humans must mitigate global warming by pursuing an unprecedented transition to a carbon neutral economy. I'm thinking most of us here understand that sentence. Variations of the sentence is, it's too fucking late to stop it altogether. We got to pull our shit together now and get the job done. Otherwise, we'll be even more fucked. Because what that sentence says is that we are already fucked. if we don't do something radical, then we're going to be super fucked. A recent study found that some of the most common terms in climate science are confusing to the general public. The study tested words that are frequently used in international climate reports, and it concluded that most confusing terms, the most confusing terms were mitigation, carbon neutral, and unprecedented transition. You know, I'm going to point out, I think like most of us, when we were growing up, if you're a Christian, if you're an ex-Christian, one of the favorite books was probably the Gospel of John, right? The Gospel of John is what they like to throw out at kids. And one of the things about the Gospel of John is that there was John the Baptist. And one of the things that struck me, and I think probably strikes you when you first read it when you were a kid, is that John the Baptist was saying, the kingdom of heaven is here and now. It is not down in the future. It is here. It is here with us now. And, you know, he was a crazy guy, right? Mythological guy. But, you know, he was a crazy guy saying words that people understood. And whenever I hear a scientist on TV, it's like, you need a little bit more of Johnny Baptist there. You need to have a little bit more firebrand in you in communicating your ideas to the general public. That was a digression, everyone. Let's go to the next panel. I think the main message is to avoid jargon, said Thandi de Bruin, a behavioral scientist at the University of Southern California, and the lead author of the study, that words may seem like everyone should understand them. So yeah, basically what de Bruin is saying is that, yeah, you should be using words that people understand. For example, participants in this study mixed up the word mitigation which commonly refers to efforts that reduce greenhouse gas emissions with the word mediation, which is a way to resolve disputes. Oh, fuck me. And even simple terms such as carbon can be misleading, the study found. Sometimes carbon is shorthand for carbon dioxide. Other times it's used to refer to multiple greenhouse gases. So basically, you know, most newspapers, everyone, write at a third grade level. I think the Boston Herald, this is an old study from years ago, the Boston Herald writes at a third grade level, right? So if you're a third grader, you can understand the Boston Herald. There has to be some translation device, someone who can transcribe science into a third grade level, something that a third grader can read. Let's see. The study is the latest indication that scientists need to do a better job communicating about global warming, especially when intended audience is the general public. Clear climate communication gets even more important every day because climate change is affecting every part of life on Earth. Nurses, doctors, farmers, teachers, engineers, and business executives need reliable, accessible information about how. No, they don't. You know, we have reliable information. We just have to package it in a way that everyday people understand. It isn't a question of setting up reliable information. We have all the fucking reliable information we need. The question is making it digestible. I think more and more people are getting concerned because of extreme weather events that they're seeing around us, said Brun de Brun. That's a funny name. That's how I'm pronouncing it, people. Brun de Brun. A little bit of Swedish chef there. I hope that this study is useful to climate scientists, but also to journalists and anyone who communicates about climate science. Use smaller words. Write for third graders. That's what you got to do. I don't know why it's that difficult to understand. The UN has also tried to make climate change reports more accessible. The most recent report from the UN Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change was more than 3,900 pages long and highly technical, but it also included a 2-page summary that stated the main points in simple language, such as it's unequivocal that human influence has warmed the atmosphere, ocean, and land. Okay, so you think that's simple language, and this is the problem when smart people write things. They use words like unequivocal. Everyday people don't understand what that word means. Have you been around normal people? Have you been around the average person? Go, if it's safe, go to like the Department of Motor Vehicles and just take a random poll. It's like, do you know what unequivocal means? Not many will understand that word. Or be able to give you an appropriate definition of what the word unequivocal means. And I don't think I'm off base on that. So you need someone, I would even say a comedian maybe, because comedians are good at explaining difficult things and boiling them down into bullet points that even drunks on a Saturday night at 1 a.m. can laugh at. Have someone like that write your copy when you're trying to talk to the general public. The solution is so fucking easy to understand. It gives me the angers, everyone. It just gives me the angers. All right. My God, John, I'm sorry. It took me a second to wrap my mind around this. If you happen to get a crayon caught in your nose, the Texas heat will melt it sometimes. That sounds terrifying, to tell you the truth, John Hudson. And the next time I'm in Texas, I'm not going to try that. Not that I would try that to begin with. Oh, here we go. Simply Secular Dave. That's funny because the Boston Bruins play at a 3rd grade level. Ha ha ha. Funny, funny, funny. Dr. Osiris says, I'm not entirely sure it's about people not understanding the words used. It's definitely part of it. But sadly, certain religions deliberately misrepresent the words used too. Yeah, right. So we're not talking about that. It's a magic bullet. But it is a step in the right direction. A step in the right direction. Take care, John Hudson. I see that you have to run. Unless you're catching up with the chat here. Well, yeah, of course. This speaks to our lack of quality education. And you got to talk to the crowd. If you're looking to sway opinion, if you're looking to communicate, if you're looking to get a chuckle even, then you have to know, you have to read the room. You have to be able to read the room. Let's see. I think I caught up with everyone here in the chat, which makes me happy. Is there another video? Okay, so we've been talking about the California recall election. I was just listening to the 538 podcast, and they tell me because, you know, they beam the messages right into my brain. Supposedly, the Democratic governor, Newsom, is 10 points ahead in California. Now, remember, a couple of weeks ago, there was a good chance that he was going to get recalled. That was what the polls were showing. But now it seems like if everyone goes out and votes, or votes by mail, then he's a shoo-in. He's going to keep his job. Now, let's remember, if he does get recalled, the person who's going to take his place is more than likely Larry Elders, who is a Hate AM talk show host. Okay, that's the background to the story. We're going to show the video of AOC urges a no vote. This is an interesting video. This is just a bunch of her talking to people on the gram, on Instagram, and it's worth sharing. It's worth sharing, seeing the good work that she's doing. I'm sharing screen, and here we go. AOC urges no vote in California recall election. That's the name of the video. Let's see if I can hit buttons right. Okay, here we go.
Ironically enough, people in Puerto Rico have actually been protesting the overdevelopment and extraction of natural resources in the name of developer profits, aka neocolonialism. Yes, nothing would give me more pleasure than to tank a billionaire dark money fossil fuel Exxon lobbyist drafted energy infrastructure bill if they come after our child care and climate priorities. And there, yes, now listen, if you live in California, there's probably a ballot in your mailbox on a recall election. Please find that thing, vote no, stick that sucker right back in your mailbox, because the options are back. I have said this since day one, felt this way since day one, but I feel much safer walking by myself alone in the Bronx than I do even on Capitol Hill. For a lot of reasons, one being that my community cares about me and Capitol Hill is an institution.
We should have a daily dose of AOC, to tell you the truth. A daily dose of AOC. I think that would be pretty cool, to tell you the truth. So yeah, no, I found terrifying is that she says that she feels safer walking in the Bronx than in Washington, you know, in the halls of government. And, you know, with the lunatics that she's serving with, Marjorie Taylor Greene amongst, and is she the next story? Oh, yes, she is, my friends. She is the next story. I could see why. Because if I had to work, if I had to be close to fascists every day, people who hate me, I wouldn't feel safe. All right. Next story, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Oh, yeah. See, this was, I warned you. I didn't warn you that there'd be pictures. But yeah. So what is she in trouble for this time? Not wearing a mask. And now she gets to be fined. Fined cash money. Marjorie Taylor Greene will literally have to pay for her refusal to wear a mask. This is from Rolling Stone. Here we go. Reps Marjorie Taylor Greene and Chip Roy have been fined for refusing to wear a mask on the House floor back in early August, the House Ethics Committee said Wednesday. The committee did not specify the size of the fine, but the House resolution requiring masks says a second violation carries a penalty of $2,500. Both Greene and Roy were issued a $500 fine back in May for refusing to wear a mask earlier in the year, as were several other House Republicans. Roy paid the $500 fine, but Greene appealed, along with Reps Thomas Massey and Ralph Norman. In her unsuccessful appeal, Greene wrote the mask rule is arbitrary and capricious, an abuse of discretion, and otherwise not consistent with law or with principles of fairness. I can't do her Karen voice well, everyone. I'm sorry. In July, all three representatives sued House Speaker Nancy Pelosi over the fine. Yeah, that's going to help. The release announcing Greene's second fines notes that neither she nor Roy appealed this time around. In explaining his decision not to appeal the ruling, Roy vaguely threatened legal action over the mask requirement. Filing an appeal to tyrannical overlords is a futile gesture, and, if successful, would leave one without standing to sue, should the mood arise, he wrote Rolling Stone in a statement. Greene's office did not immediately respond to a request for comment from Rolling Stone. You know, actually, it's been a bunch of good news today. I'm sorry. I should apologize for the good news. You know, we had good news about the bishop no longer being the bishop anymore because he's fell in love with the author of Satanic Erotica. We had good news about a Florida court saying that Ron DeSantis can't enforce his mask mandate in schools. Good news about General Lee's statue coming down in Richmond, Virginia. And Marjorie Taylor Greene getting fined, probably $2,500. Good news all around. Now, some of you, and microphone would be the, Andy, you know this is all going to change when the midterm elections come, right? That more than likely the Republicans are going to take control of the House and the Senate. Yes, microphone. I'm aware of that, but can't I be allowed, microphone, to feel good about some things? Can't I be allowed, microphone, to feel good about some things? He's like, no. It's brutal. Microphone. It's keeping me on a short leash, everyone. On a short leash. And by the way, this is the special effects of the show. The googly eyes right here. This is the special effects. All right, checking out the chat before we start wrapping stuff up. Oh, MTG, right? Right, she is, yeah, nasty. A nasty woman. And she is cray-cray, Dr. Osiris. Marjorie, Trader Green, Queen. Yep, Margarine. Okay, I see what you did there. All right, I think I got, you can't beat the googly eyes. This is true. The googly eyes are pretty cool. And like I said, the only special effects we have here on this channel, at least on this show. You want to do something fun? You want to see something funny? I want to see something funny. Let's do it.
Have you had a rough year?
Yeah.
And there's no end in sight?
Yeah.
Introducing Giving Up.
What's that?
Giving Up was created as a last resort, but it's starting to look like a pretty good option.
Hey man, why haven't you shaved recently?
I gave up.
And your apartment's a mess.
I gave up.
Also, are you wearing socks and sandals?
I gave up.
Your 20s were supposed to be fun. And now look. Try giving up today.
Look, I'm not saying you should give up. I'm not giving up. If I wasn't so angry, maybe I would be giving up. I can't really tell because I don't know where the anger ends and I start. Everyone, I just don't know. That's probably something I should have talked to my therapist about years ago. Probably, maybe. Checking out the chat one more time. Scapegoat Iscariot. You're special in your effectiveness. I'll call you a special effect. That's good. Thank you, Scapegoat Iscariot. Much appreciated. Our 20 is supposed to be fun. Yeah, I'm sorry. I skipped that memo. I think I'm old enough to remember to have lived at a time when your 20s were. I got married when I was 26. And worked a lot in my 20s. All right. Thank you. This is the time I say thank you to people. Thank you for people. If you're watching right now, thank you for stopping by. Thank you in the chat. If you're just, contributed to the culture of this channel, of the Laughing in Disbelief channel here, for contributing in the chat. If you're lurking and not putting anything in the chat, thanks too, just for stopping by. I hope you learned something. Hope you did. Thank you for liking the video. Thank you for subscribing and hitting the bell. And once again, no ads on this channel. How fantastic is that? Hate ads. Hate ads. And so there is the after party, after show for atheists, humanists, big liberals, and progressives at 10 a.m. The link, if you want to be on the channel, on the chat. If you want to be on the panel, channel, chat, that's what it is. If you want to be on the panel for the after party, after show, you can click that. It's down there, everyone. I'm going to throw down, that sounds violent. I'm going to throw down the thank you video, and then I'll see you at 10. Wow, I saw I got one downvote on this channel, which is great, to tell you the truth, because downvotes, the way how YouTube looks at the downvotes and the upvotes, as long as you're getting some kind of response, that actually increases you in search. So thank you to the person who downvoted this video. I'll see you at 10, everyone.